up, everybody? My name is Jason, and welcome to the $10,000 EIDL Grant Stimulus Update Important Review. It is Tuesday, March the 2nd, 2021. Please do me each favor. Give this video a thumbs up, hashtag EIDL with your comments below, and if you'd like to join a brand new website later this month, where you're going to be able to create a profile, and this guy right here is going to help grow your business, I ask that you please subscribe to this channel right now, and it's going to be awesome. And make sure that you hit the bell. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Tuesday, almost hump day. I hope you, your business, your family are doing really, really well. I'm back with another daily dose of inspiration, trying to answer some questions, throw out a couple of warnings. So here we go. All right, cheers, more coffee. Spoke to the SBA, uh-oh. All right, speaking of the SBA, let me get this out of the way first before I tell you what we talked about. Do not respond to any emails that do not end in sba.gov. The targeted advance is targeted advance at sba.gov. If you're doing a reconsideration, it's Paul David Charlie at recons at sba.gov. There's also the disaster, etc. at sba.gov. Triple check any emails that you get and make sure it says at sba.gov, because there is an epic, and I mean epic, amount of a scam going on right now. Some of it's in our comments. You may have seen the Frank's customer service. He keeps changing. If I ever find out who the fuck Frank is, and by the way, I have some very smart people looking into it, because this guy, and it's probably not his real name, but he's asking people for their social security number and $300 or $400 to get you the $10,000 of targeted EIDL advance. You don't need to do that. So one more time, actually it'll probably be one more time in a series of 100 more times. Never email, call, text anyone at WhatsApp, Instagram, etc., even if it looks like me, right? There's 100 clones of me, and YouTube, unfortunately, they have a policy where you can take someone's name and photo and create a clone every hour on the hour for the rest of my life, and they won't do a damn thing about it. I've told you guys 25% or thereabouts of YouTube's traffic is totally fake. It's a bot, it's a scam, and even though people are getting ripped off like you would not believe, having their personal identity stolen, having their social security numbers blacklisted all over the world, and pulling money out of their account that they'll never see ever again, they refuse to do anything about it. So once again, never email, call, text, WhatsApp anyone. And if you see my face and name in the comments telling you, oh, I'll get you connected, or go over here and tell them it's not me. I never put my personal contact information in the comments, and I never tell you to go somewhere else than right here. Once in a while, I share my email address, because by the way, 10 of the 15 cash prize winners have already been paid. 2 are waiting for the new limit to be lifted. I sent out more money today, but it capped me again. Hopefully tomorrow I can finish. And 3 of you in the top comment have not come forward. I don't know what the numbers are in terms of who it is, but check the pinned comment. And one more time, be on the lookout for scammers. If you see me telling you to go somewhere else, it's not me. Just hit report and get on with your day. All right. Before I briefly once again touch on this $5,000 targeted EIDL advance that's in the new $1.9 trillion deal that's, of course, in the Senate getting butchered as we speak. The SBA once again reiterated that the idiots, and I want to say that with a capital I, the idiots on this channel and other channels that keep telling people it's $1,000 per employee because the SBA.gov website says it's up to $10,000 are full of shit. Read the bill, pin in the top comment, or call someone at the SBA who actually knows what they're talking about. And it's not $1,000 per employee. It's shall receive $10,000 minus the amount of the grant already received for a maximum of $10,000. In other words, it's 10 grand or the balance thereof. Now, the problem is, so far anyway, it's just for low-income communities in Section 331, the targeted EIDL advance. There is no portal. Everyone's waiting on emails. Right now, about 30% have already gotten an email, and about a third of them report that they're in middle-income communities. I think that's fantastic. But as the SBA reiterated to me, their biggest concern right now, and you need to pay attention if you haven't filed, is that people are filling out the application incorrectly. Incorrectly. As I said yesterday, and I've been saying for a while, do not put your unemployment, your PPP, or even a side hustle in the grid at the bottom of the application for 2019, 2020, and 2021. The only thing you put in there are your receipts, your sales, your revenue related to whatever business you put on the application. So if you're an S Corp or an LLC and it's Bob's Something Inc., your checking account for your business better say Bob Something Inc. It has to be an exact match. And you don't put anything in there other than what you sold at Bob Something Inc. So if you did a side project and a neighbor even wrote you a check, even if you put it into the same account, if it's not directly related to that business, it does not go in your income receipts. And now here's the biggest thing. You have to have, one more time, 30% economic loss back-to-back in an 8-week period. It has to be back-to-back. It can't be April and July. It's got to be back-to-back. Now, for most of you, March, April, and May were a disaster. I lost almost all my business during those months. And even though I'm coming roaring back right now, I got my clock clean like most of you did in March, April, and May. So, what you can do is you write in your receipts for 2019. If you had zero, you write zero. You write in your sales just for that business or the side hustle. Again, your personal business checking, even if it's in your own name, has to be an exact match to what you put on the application. And then some point between March the 2nd and December 27, when the law passed, you have to have 8 successive weeks of a 30% economic loss. That can be relative to January and February of 2020. So let's say you started your business on January 1st. You took in 10 grand January and February. Okay, as long as March and April drop down to 7,000 or less, you qualify, if you're in low income, for the full $10,000 or the balance thereof. If it didn't happen in March, but it does happen in April and May, it's got to be successive and it's got to drop off. But if you started your business in 2019, you need to show a 30% or more economic loss or drop in revenue relative to 2019 to 2 successive months between March and December 27th of 2020. And the problem's going to be, and this person who's been at the SBA for almost 20 years, I've talked to him repeatedly, their biggest concern is that people are not writing in the amounts correctly, or they're adding in revenue or receipts that is not directly related to the business, or they don't show 2 straight months, 8 consecutive weeks of an economic loss because it can't be broken up. You have to show 2 months back to back where you got gutted. And I know I'm being repetitive with this, but I don't want to see anybody lose any money. But I'm going to tell you right now, and this person agrees with me, if there is going to be a fiasco and a potential lawsuit city, it's going to be the interpretation of how the application was filled out and what the SBA sees. Because if they're using human clerical eyeballs on these applications, there's bound to be mistakes and disagreements. So I'm telling everybody right now, you need to be prepared. It's not $1,000 per employee. If you're legit and low income and you've got that 30% consecutive 2-month economic loss, you're getting 10 grand or the balance thereof. But if you made a mistake filling out the application, or you don't have 2 months back to back of the loss, that's going to be on you. And hopefully the SBA, although they're intimating that they're not going to allow reconsideration. That's where I think there's going to be a problem in potential lawsuit. Because honest mistakes are going to be made, but you're going to have to get to the back of the line, which leads me to this. It's pinned in the top comment, right? The long story short, there is another $5,000 targeted EIDL advance for low-income communities. I am convinced, and I've talked to many people, covered entity of Section 331, which is in this bill, is nothing more than more money for low-income communities. So it's fantastic, right? If you already got an email and you've applied, you're waiting for your money, well, guess what? You got another $5,000 coming. If you're a severely impacted business, which is a 50% economic loss, and you got less than 10 employees, There's another $5,000, total of 15. Is it going to be a different application? I don't think so, but who the hell knows, right? We're talking about the federal government. And then there's substantially impacted, which according to some, and I've asked 5 people now at the SBA, I got 3 different answers. Substantially impacted, which will go after severely impacted with a 50% economic loss, are those that fall between 30 and 50%. Is that true? That's the general consensus. So if you already applied and you're in a low-income community, they sent you an email or one's on the way, you got a chance at $15,000. If you're in substantial, between 30 and 50% economic loss, you're going to have to wait until the severely go. So ladies and gentlemen, I expect emails for the first $10,000 to go all the way through March. This thing is supposed to kick in within 14 days of the law passing, and then there's technically up to 42 days for them to pay you. This is going into Memorial Day, perhaps longer. But once again, if you're in a low-income community, you stand to get $15,000. You're welcome. Thank you very much. But for everybody else, I got to continue to raise hell. I've been calling Jackie Rosen, Ben Cardin, John Cornyn, Chris Coons, everybody else, the House members that are in the Problem Solvers Caucus. Believe me when I tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, they're well aware that middle income and high income communities have been left out in the cold. But there's a power at work here, and I haven't quite frankly figured it out yet. Because the Democrats, as I said yesterday, control all branches of government. They could easily remove the low-income community requirement, but for some reason, up until right now, they refuse to do so. They cannot blame it on the Republicans anymore. They control all branches of government. So as I've been telling you repeatedly, Jackie Rosen, John Cornyn, Chris Coons, have somebody call me back because I want to know. You're in charge. There's no reason why we can't remove that, or at a minimum, like I said yesterday, move some of the $120 billion of unappropriated EIDL loan money that's going to be sitting there for the next year, move it over into the grant pile. Put it right in Section 332, the Emergency EIDL Grant, so everyone, once again, in low, middle, and high income communities, you know what? Can get $15,000 or the balance thereof. So that's my message for the next 2 weeks. Until next time, always remember, I love each and every single one of you, and thank you very much for watching.